Welcome, Gems. Welcome back to the next episode of the Rock Bottom Podcast. We're your hosts, Dom.
I'm Kelsey.
Thank you so much for tuning back in to our 7th episode.
Episode 7.
That's crazy.
Almost 2 months.
I know. Can you believe we made it this far?
I believed in us, but it's gone faster than I thought it would.
I know.
It's been great, and I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we've put out an episode every Monday. I'm proud of us. I decided to put my flowers on the table this week because Dom got me flowers.
I did.
Over the weekend.
I did.
And I absolutely adore them, and I just love flowers. Aren't these beautiful? I mean, sorry for the audio listeners, but we have some beautiful flowers on the YouTube channel, and they're gorgeous. Check them out on the YouTube.
Yes.
We have 2 announcements to make today before we dive into our topic. Our first announcement, I don't know if you noticed, but we did call you guys Gems this week. We have officially landed on a phrase, a word that we want to call you guys, call our viewers, call our community, kind of like some of our other favorite podcasts have done, like the Giggly Squad with Hannah Burner and Paige DeSorbo. They call their viewers gigglers, the burner phone, the dialers. That's also with Hannah Burner. Those are a couple podcasts that do it, kind of like Swifties or Kittens or
BTS Army.
I think it's cool. We think it's exciting. We think it's more fun.
Yeah.
And we wanted to just, figure out what we could call you guys. And I'm sorry it took me 7 weeks and took us 7 weeks, but
you were struggling because you kept wanting to call them stoners.
I couldn't get past it. All I could think was rock bottom, stoners. I was like, we cannot use that.
Gems is perfect.
Gems is perfect. I love it. I'm glad we landed on it. And that kind of leads us right into our second announcement because the inspiration for the word gems came directly from this.
Yes, it did. And yeah, the second announcement we want to make is we did launch our Discord.
The Discord we've been talking about launching for weeks. We finally got it up.
Yes, we did. I took the honor and privilege of making that happen. And basically what Discord is, for anybody that hasn't used it before, it's a free communication app used by millions of people. And basically it's a way to communicate with each other using text, video, calling, and it builds a sort of community.
Yep. It's like a perfect communication community connection app, basically. Yes. You can send pictures, you can do group chats. Mm-hmm. We've got all our things organized, right? We have different within the server, we have other pages you can go on, that mental health, conspiracies, whatever page you want to be on to talk about something specific. We're going to make in those pages, or we already have, I think.
Yes, and we will be active in there as well. We want to see people responding, and we're going to have mental health experts in there too that we want to incorporate into our Discords as well.
We want to take it as far as we can, make it as helpful as possible. We really just want it to be a place for our gems to go and connect, basically. And the reason that we got the inspiration gems from the Discord was because if you use Discord, you'll know this, but if you make a server, you get a bot that kind of helps you with your server, and the bot's name was Sapphire, and as soon as we saw that name, we were like, oh my god,
it clicked.
Yeah, gems, diamonds, oh my god, it's the perfect connection between rocks and rock bottom, and gems are rocks, beautiful rocks, diamonds are a gem. We just thought it was the perfect connection to bring us out of rock bottom and kind of connect it with this beautiful gem that you get after being in rock bottom. So we thought it was perfect. We thought it worked. We changed our bot's name to Diamond because we like that better.
Yeah.
But
I think diamonds are a little more.
But Sapphire is beautiful. Yeah. We just thought it flowed better.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Shine bright like a diamond.
So those are our announcements. We're super excited to finally have gotten that off the ground. We're going to start connecting very soon with you guys. In-person meetups will be soon to follow. I think that being said, we want to dive in to our topics. What's our topic?
Absolutely. So our topics today are gossiping and cancel culture. Two very hefty topics we have to combat today. So yeah, last episode I wanted to do gossiping. I had said it and I was like, you know what? I want to give an entire episode to this concept, and this is our opportunity to do that.
I think we realized it was such a broad topic that we couldn't really fit it into the friendship episode. Yeah. And I have a lot to say about gossiping. Can we start with gossiping?
Absolutely.
I think this is not a popular opinion. The popular opinion is that gossiping is this big bad thing, kind of seen as a woman activity or something like that, that people partake in, and that gossipers are stupid. I think there's two sides to that coin. I think gossiping can be a good thing. And I think gossiping is also a bad thing. But the sheer difference here is not that gossiping can be good and bad. It's more so defining what gossiping is. So I think gossip is bad, but the sharing of information and knowledge and real actual events is important and significant.
So you're basically saying like it creates like a new perception, like how you perceive the information goes from.
Well, also the intention though.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, how you perceive it or what you do with it. But like if the said gossiper is, you know, you can usually tell in their energy, like, and tell in the words they're using, or tell what their intention is by how they're delivering things. But if, you know, obviously if someone's being gossipy, if someone's being shitty, using slander like words, trying to tear that other person down, obviously trying to make you see that person in a bad light, or telling you a rumor, if you're sharing things that aren't true, of course that's gossiping. Rumors aren't okay. Lying isn't okay. Spreading false realities about people isn't okay. But there's a sheer difference between that and telling someone real events, or something that happened to you, or something that somebody else did and they really did that. If you put like a nasty spin on it, I think, or you exaggerate it, or you lie, or you spread a rumor, that's gossiping. Absolutely. Okay. Or if you're like just there to shit talk somebody, like obviously I think we all know when we're gossiping. I think we all know the difference between fellowship and healing and sharing emotions with people and expressing yourself, or telling people a real thing about what happens, versus like shit talking. And I think we all know the difference. We just kind of pretend to group those things together. Yeah, in my opinion.
That's funny because I always felt like when I was a kid, I was raised on the concept that women do the gossiping and men weren't allowed to gossip.
It was like a woman thing.
Yeah.
That's something else I wanted to get into, because I think this goes back like deep into our history. I think gossiping was kind of this thing that was like placed in society, like, don't do this big bad thing, you know, watch your tongue. Like it's deep in the Bible too. Like it's a big theme throughout the Bible, like don't gossip and how bad it makes you. I feel like that ideology was placed in our society from men to women because they simply didn't want us discussing the reality of what was going on and what the leaders were doing and what the men were doing and what the husbands were doing. So women were supposed to not gossip amongst each other.
Interesting.
Air quotes on the gossip, because they didn't want information spreading, and they didn't want people finding things out, and they didn't want people finding out that they're like things were happening that weren't supposed to be happening. You know what I'm saying? So I really think that gossiping has this big rap of like, it's bad, when it's really just sharing knowledge and information that should be discussed. Like I said, there is that bad side to gossiping, but a big part of this, I feel like this stigma is like linked to how men didn't want women to gossip because they just didn't want them to collaborate, basically.
It's crazy that we came from a time where they weren't allowed to gossip into slowly like newspapers coming out, that the news press, when that came out, that was a faster way to spread information. And then we get to mail, which is a faster way to spread information.
And here we are at podcast. This is a full ass gossip show.
Absolutely. And this and this is like, we just see it with the internet. It's just like at the flip of a switch, like we are able to spread information.
Yeah, and it's getting crazy. You remember I said that, how like there's a video from 5,000 different perspectives now because everyone has a phone and everyone shares information immediately. Yeah, it's just like,
it's getting harder and harder to hide things.
Yeah,
in society
because
of gossip.
I think that there's this side to gossip culture, if you want to call it that, of like, really honestly, I think it's a lack of definition. I think gossip is bad, but the part that we think of gossip as, which I think is not, the spreading of information, you know, knowledge, expression of feelings that we should share with our friends or our close family. Even if you're saying like, this person made me feel like this, and maybe like they didn't intend to, but they made you feel like that, and that's the truth. Obviously you can tell like someone's energy when they're presenting you with information, and it's kind of up to your discretion to be like, is this knowledge and valuable information that this person was genuinely trying to share with me out of care and love, or is it gossip?
Yeah, absolutely. Because imagine if you were like trying to like talk to somebody or date somebody, and you had someone that you really trusted come to you with information and with a wholeheartedly like helping you in the situation and just saved you from a possible disaster.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's somebody you really do trust, like you said, like, and they know something about this person that you really should know, and maybe this person isn't changed and they're still that same person. Your friend knows that, and they're trying to tell you that. That's probably out of love, unless you have a snaky friend and they're really just trying to separate you guys because they're jealous or whatever the case is. That happens a lot too, and sometimes it can be really hard to tell in the moment if it's genuine care with information or if it's gossip. And
well, I mean, that's where the
envy.
master manipulation comes into play too.
Yeah, that can be hard. Like
differentiating.
That's why it's kind of up to your own discretion. Like, you have to be like, do I trust this person? Do I trust this person and what they're telling me? And am I going to act on it? Or am I going to be like, I feel like it's gossip? Or even if you do feel like it's the truth, I've been in a position where I was like, maybe that is the truth, but I'm willing to give this person a chance. Maybe they're different. Maybe they've changed. That was a long time ago. And I've been in cases where the thing that they were telling me about, they were like telling me, this guy's cheated before, and I give the person a chance and they never cheated on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like not that relationship lasted overall, but like they didn't do what those people said they were going to do. It was something else. You know what I'm saying? My point is that sometimes, even if the gossip is true, you have the discretion and the ability to decide if you want to give that person a fresh start, a new chance, however you may want to like take that upon yourself, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that'll lead us into the negative portion of gossiping.
The bad side of gossiping.
Absolutely. And yeah, you never really know how bad gossip can be when you're the one gossiping, because you're like exchanging the information back and forth. You're talking about somebody, whatever, yada yada
you
yada.
You might feel like it's justified too, because what you heard is like, oh wow, that's so shitty.
And you're like clarifying with somebody, so it might seem like gossip. But when you really like flip the script and you really feel it on the other side, and you walk through the halls of a school, or you are walking into work and you just see people like together talking about you, and you can hear your name like little whispers.
Or they're all looking at you.
Or they're all looking at you, as you're walking by.
Or they get quiet as you walk by.
That feeling is awful.
Yeah, I've been there.
I've been there myself.
I don't know if it's a common thing to like be the target and focal point of like mass gossip. Like, we're not just talking like a couple people or one little friend group was like talking shit. I think maybe everyone's been in that position, but you and I have both been in a position where there was like a mass of people gossiping about us. Yeah.
Where people I didn't even know knew things about me that I didn't even know their name.
And these were two different situations. We weren't even talking when this happened.
No.
We separately had our own situations where I had like several different workplaces like literally talking shit about me, and some of these people I didn't even know who they were.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say we kind of almost bonded over gossip.
When we like reconnected, we were kind of like at a low point. We were both kind of at a low point of like everyone's turned on us. I don't know how common that is, but like we've both been the focal point of mass gossip before, and it sucks. Like you were saying, like it really changes your perspective on gossip. It's embarrassing. It's just traumatizing, honestly.
I will say that I thought I was going to take it in a really negative way, and I really wanted to like just disappear, but I almost let it fuel me into getting into the gym. And I tried myself. I was like, you guys want to paint me as a monster? I'll become a monster. Not in like a negative way, but I'll really I'll really work on myself and show y'all that I am not prove it to them. I'm gonna prove it to me that you're not more than what they're saying about me.
Facts. That's the biggest motivator, because it's not about what they think of you. It's just you start to believe the gossip yourself. You're like, you hear all these like things all the time. Everyone's saying the same shit about you. Everyone's calling you the same names. It's all in your ear. Everyone hates you. And you're feeling that energy. Like maybe you're not hearing exactly what they're saying, but you're feeling that energy's heavy when like everyone's against you and hating on you. So I feel like that in itself, you're like feeling what they think of you. So you're like, I'm gonna prove to myself that I'm not that person.
Absolutely.
Like, I have made mistakes or whatever it was to get them gossiping. Maybe it wasn't mistakes, maybe they were just rumors or whatever the case was, but like you said, it was motivating to get ourselves off a rock bottom and prove to ourselves that we can become or be something better than we were. And true, like, I haven't really thought about that before, but that is super motivating. That was a very motivating part of me getting off rock bottom. I had something to prove to myself.
And I'm really happy I found the value of lesson in stoicism. That was a big deal to push me into the direction that I wanted to be in.
You were
life.
studying that kind of deep when you were at your rock bottom.
I was, yeah. That's what really pulled me out and gave me the guidelines. And basically, for anybody that doesn't know what stoicism is, it's not cutting off your emotions. It's learning how to develop and control your emotions.
Master them.
And master your emotions. And by doing that, that will basically shift your focus away from everybody talking crap and gossiping about you and turn yourself more into how can I turn this energy and push my life in a forward direction. And I think that's key in these type of situations when gossip becomes a very big prevalent part of our culture, is what we can do with that energy that's being afflicted towards us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Thank you.
I'm not here to like trash people or tear people down or ruin their lives, which kind of leads us into cancel culture, but like, I'm not here to get people canceled, basically. Like, that's my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. I'm allowed to share it with my close friends, and I think that's the extent of it.
Yeah, gossiping can really ruin someone's reputation.
Yeah.
And when we have to be careful with the platform that we have and the spread of information that we have with that platform.
Mindful of like who you're telling as well, the room you're in.
Because you really don't understand how fast information spreads.
Really fast.
Yeah, with just telling one or two people, it spreads like wildfire.
So know who you're telling.
Absolutely.
Like, if you are gonna do what we kind of see as the good side of gossiping, like the spreading of information, the expression of feelings, even if you feel like you aren't gossiping, sometimes your listener is gonna take it that way and maybe twist your words or go tell other people that you said something you totally didn't, or maybe you didn't mean to say, you're just expressing some feelings. So be careful who you tell. Know that you can trust your partner with that information, or you can trust your friend with that information, or your family, because it gets twisted fast. Like, I've heard a lot of things I've said get twisted as fuck, and I'm like, I did not say that. Like, yeah,
but it is in the eye of the beholder, behind the eye of the person receiving that information, how they twist the information,
how they hear it. So know who you're telling, like, know your listener,
and if they actually have your back or not. Like you said, trust is huge.
Huge, because
if they have it out for you, they will paint you in the darkest picture and twist your words and really put you in an uncomfortable position.
And they'll probably, if they really have it out for you and you feel comfortable enough to tell them feelings or something, like, they probably are going to pretend they're your friend in that moment, and like, they want to hear it, and no, tell me, I'm here for you, I'm here for you, and then they're about to go run and tell the person you're talking about. That has happened to me so many times, I cannot tell you.
And manipulate the information out of you just so they can go twist your words and make you look like a villain.
Yeah, that has happened to me so many times, and I think the place it's happened to me the most, get this, youth group, church.
Really?
Yes. I've had so many people in youth group act like they have my side, and they're like, I'm here for you, like, let's pray about this, and then they literally immediately go run and tell the person that I was like expressing myself about. Wow. And then they're all against me. I've had, oh my gosh, you're talking about masses being against you. I've had whole youth groups against me. Yes. I'm not kidding. I can tell you the craziest of stories. I went on a missions trip and I literally got kicked off of it. The gossip on the missions trip was so bad that the youth pastor, who was also my uncle, kicked me off of the youth missions trip. And the gossip wasn't true. That is an example of what gossiping can do to you.
Wow.
To this day, I will put my hand on a Bible that I don't believe in, that like the gossip was not true. It was pure jealousy. It was crazy. Oh my gosh, this makes me so angry. I'm sorry, I'm rambling about it, but I had a whole youth group talking shit about me. A whole youth group turns against me. The guy I was talking to broke up with me and started dating the main girl that was part of the gossip. And then my own fucking uncle of a youth pastor kicked me off of the youth trip.
That's insane. That's literally insane. I don't even know what to say.
Talk about church hurt.
That's insane.
Oh, I
think that
digress.
The absolute worst part of gossiping that I take, like now that I just heard your story and I'm putting it into like how I've gotten gossiped about, is what I felt in the moment when it was happening was that they are never going to know your side of the story. They will always have how the other people paint the picture.
Say it again.
They will never know your side of the story.
They will never know your side of the story.
And I think that's what made me so mad when people were gossiping about me is like I could not and did not have the energy to run to every single person and be like, no, you just don't know my side of the story.
And even if you did, you would have looked insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, if I have something to tell our gems, if I have something to tell you guys at all, it's they are never going to get to hear your side of the story, and you have to be okay with that.
Yep. You
have to let it rest. Like, let those perceptions lay with them. I think I've said this before on the pod. You can't do anything about let it. Find new people. If those people were willing to take that gossip and run with it, believe that about you, tell other people, continue to gossip with the people they got it from, they aren't your friend anyway.
They don't care about you.
Keep going.
Yep.
Let those perceptions rest. Mm-hmm. They are just as much not your friend as the person that started the gossip.
Yeah, they don't go out of their way to hear your side of the story. They never had your back to begin with.
Absolutely. If I heard terrible gossip about someone that was like literally my friend, and I heard gossip about them, I would immediately go to that friend and be like, is this true?
Is this true?
I wouldn't throw anybody under the bus, but I would confront my friend and be like,
I heard this.
Yeah.
Can you tell me your side of the story?
Yeah. Like, that's what a friend would do, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's all I have to say, I guess.
No,
Because,
but that's like
if
period.
they are willing to take the gossip, gossiping back, spreading the gossip, immediately just ghosted you or didn't give you your side of the story, immediately started hating you, they were not your friend to begin with. No, they were not. I promise.
Yeah. And
their loyalty is like the wind.
Exactly. You can refer back to our last episode.
Oh, yeah. This episode has a lot to do with our last episode.
Yeah.
Don't just keep going. You have to let those perceptions lay with them. You will never get to change their minds. That's unfortunate.
You can't waste time and energy focusing on what other people perceive of you.
Absolutely.
That's what I learned from that as well. That I had to better myself and improve my own being to prove not only to myself, but to like kind of shit on them for not believing me to begin with. And when they do see how successful and how much of a different person I become, they're going to be like, wow, I'm really embarrassed that I thought that of that person. Look at all the good they're doing in this world.
It's karma. Like, I think about that all the time. Like, you're not ever gonna get to like verbally go tell them what they thought was wrong and like their perceptions are wrong. You just have to prove it to them. Let karma prove it to them, and it will. Bad karma will catch up with them, and good karma will stay with you. And if the
universe aligns,
if you stay on your good karma and your good, all that stuff, you know what I mean? Like it will prove to them over time. Mm-hmm. I bring this person up a lot because she's my mother. Taylor Swift. She's doing wonderful. Look at her on top of the world. And guess what? All of her haters are so embarrassed. Like, everybody who canceled her back on Twitter, the Taylor Swift is over party. I'd be embarrassed now. I would be embarrassed now if I had sent out that hashtag.
Yep.
Because look at her. She's fucking person, not even woman of the year. She was woman of the decade. She was person of the year. And I could go on.
Yeah. Nobel Peace Prize for Taylor Swift.
That is a prime example of like people thought bad things about her, talked shit about her. All she did was continue to prove her reputation.
Yeah. No, she's incredible.
Yeah.
And imposing very beautiful things on the future generations of women for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like her good karma's just always been on her side. So I think that's just a good example of like, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep living your life.
Not letting the gossip affect you.
Yeah, just keep building your reputation. And good karma will bejewel you. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I'm so good at Taylor Swift puns. Yeah, that I could do it all day long. Speaking of how Taylor Swift got canceled on Twitter with that Taylor Swift is over hashtag, let's get into cancel culture.
Yes, let's get in. Let's dive right in. So I feel like there's two main arguments when it comes to cancel culture. It is, are we actually holding people accountable by it? or is it like a tactic to punish others unjustly, or is it both?
I think it's extremely circumstantial. I think canceling companies that are doing immoral practices is one thing. Canceling somebody and ruining somebody's life over like an old tweet is something different. I think cancel culture can get absolutely ridiculous when it comes to like celebrities. You know, people make one mistake or send one bad tweet or something stupid like that, and then they literally get their lives ruined over it. Like, I've seen countless Twitter threads of not famous people, but just like regular ass people did something racist or did something bad, which obviously isn't okay, but they like took those videos or tweets or whatever and like showed their school, showed their jobs and all that stuff, and they got like fired, you know, full rides revoked, like stuff revoked, they're kicked out of their school, their life is literally ruined over like a tweet. And I mean, like I said, it's circumstantial. If the video was so bad or so racist or whatever it was, like, I can understand that. It kind of just depends on the situation, I think.
Yeah.
Drake, fully justified.
No, absolutely.
Drake's cancellation, I'm absolutely behind.
But like canceling pumpkin spice lattes or pumpkin spice.
Yeah, wasn't that over like, I don't know, the spice trading or something?
Yeah, but like that was back in. I mean, I know the origin of it is a little dicey, like how they used to trade spices and stuff and how it came through. But to cancel it today?
I mean, like, honestly, I can kind of understand if you're thinking like, we wouldn't even have that spice if you didn't slaughter or something like that. Like, that makes sense to me because it's like, in this modern day and age, we literally wouldn't have that spice in America if this bad thing didn't happen. I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, like, who are we punishing by canceling pumpkin spice? Because nobody here did that.
No,
they're all dead.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, who are we teaching a lesson
at
that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a lot of examples where the canceling can get a little ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think, like you said, like Drake and some other like big celebrities that are being uncovered with very serious allegations. I think those cancelings are very
serious allegations, immoral stuff. Like, we can understand. You know,
I can get behind those canceling.
Yeah, like, and more stuff like, especially companies. I can totally get behind canceling a company because, like, we've recently boycotted Walmart because they practice hella prison labor and tons of practices with their food that aren't okay. So yeah, like, that's just an example of something we've, I guess, been canceling because they're not practicing things that we can get behind, and I think that's okay. But ruining somebody's life over something small is ridiculous. And I don't mean just because it's small. I mean because we cancel people with the notion that they're canceled. Like, they have no chance of coming back, no second chances for that person. I think that's ridiculous. I think maybe someone should be canceled for like a brief time or get a punishment or a consequence, like losing a job or something for doing something racist or whatever it is. Yes, I think that maybe they should be canceled or punished or have a consequence for a time, whatever the time should be. But to say there's no chances or like this person's completely canceled, like never again, over a mistake, I think is dumb, because I personally think that we all deserve several chances. Maybe not with the same people or in the same relationships do we deserve like 10th chances, but in our lives, we deserve unlimited chances, I think.
For sure. Especially if someone's getting help and they're really propelling their life in a light where they are getting the help that they need and they are getting what needs to be done to make themselves better. For real,
putting in effort.
Yeah. But like, referring back to that documentary with Drake Bell and all those people that wrote the letter for his judge, and they didn't even apologize after they came out.
Cancel those people.
Absolutely.
I will get behind that.
Yeah.
How? Oh my God. Me? I cannot. Let's touch on that for a second. I cannot even believe that some of them came forward and was like, I had no idea what I was writing and what I was signing for. I thought it was... Why are you writing a whole letter for something that you don't know what you're writing for? So, like, I can't even get behind you just because you're saying there was a lack of knowledge. Like, that's just as bad. Why would you write a whole letter to a judge? Unknowingly what you're talking about. That's ridiculous.
I can't believe that.
Every person that wrote one of those letters, I want the list because they're canceled in my eyes.
Absolutely.
Like, I cannot believe that. That is sickening.
Yep.
If you've ever defended pedophilia, molestation, sexual assault, like, you know, any of those things, if you've ever defended a crime, defended murder, defended something unjust and immoral, yes, I think you should be canceled.
Absolutely.
Do I think you can change? Yes. Yeah. I do think even the people that wrote those letters can genuinely change, see that they were wrong, whatever. But
the people that
I'm never going to follow them again.
Never give you a second chance.
What do you mean?
The people that never really came out and even apologized, even after that came into light.
But I still even think that the people apologize are on some bullshit. Like, what the fuck were you doing?
But at least they took the time to be like, hey, like, this was a genuine mistake. Even if it was bullshit, like, at least they, like, acknowledge that they made a mistake.
I guess so, yeah. I don't know. It's a little harder for, like, again, it's to your discretion. It's whatever your boundaries are and what you think you're going to follow or subscribe to or put your money in. And if you agree with everything behind that, I guess that's up to your discretion. But I have a really hard time with the Drake letter situation, even after they apologize, because, like...
How do you not know?
And just how do you, like, be like, oh, 20 years later.
Just because the guy was a good guy.
Yeah, and not only that, but you had 20 years. You had 20 years to be like, oh my God, I wrote a letter I shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. After the documentary comes out, you want to give me an apology?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not, you're not sorry until you get caught, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I just didn't have any grace for them, because it's like, it's been 20 years. Mm-hmm. I'm a personal, wholehearted believer in the fact that karma persists whether people know about it or not. Whether people know about your secret little mistake that maybe no person or soul knows about, karma knows. And I personally believe that karma will hunt you down and track you down from town to town, whether people know about it or not. Mm-hmm. So the fact that that was on your shoulders and on your conscience for 20 years and you haven't done anything about it is insane to me. I just truly believe that karma will catch up with you whether people know or not. So, like, you should realize that you're wrong all on your own. Like, it shouldn't take you getting caught or people confronting you. How do you sleep at night?
I don't know.
Like,
I can't imagine.
So, like we said, it's up to your boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely.
I obviously feel really strongly about some of these topics. Yeah. But, like we said, it's up to your discretion. And we just think it's, like, dumb to, like, cancel somebody and never give them a chance again. I really think, like, as strongly as I felt about that subject, I do think everyone deserves more chances. I do think anybody can change. I do think, like, there is healing for everybody and change for everybody. I just think it's with a separate group of people than the people they messed up with, if that makes sense. I mean, if you can forgive the people and, like, you can move past stuff, that's up to you, right? But, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and that's okay. If it's too hard to move past, like, they will find a life with another group of people, and they can tell those people what their past was like. But, you know, like, if you can get past something, that's okay. I think that's totally valid to recognize, I know you can change, I know you can heal, but it's not going to be with me.
Yeah, I know I've canceled people in my life that were huge, very big influences on my journey and my development as a human being, and I know it can get really hard to remove and cancel someone that you really love or who you really grew up with or who you've been around your entire life or people you've watched grow up or people you see on TV. I know how hard it is to really remove someone and really cancel someone, and when you dive deep into the emotions that surround canceling someone and removing someone, it can get really dicey, and you just have to be strong. You have to know your boundaries. You have to remember the emotions and why you felt that way to cancel somebody.
I'm going to speak for the other half of our viewers that might feel like me. I think you grew up with healthier relationships and, like, family friendships and just relationships overall than I did. I'm more on the side of you would have a harder time with me than you with continuing relationships rather than cutting them off. And what I mean by that is I'll cut someone off so fast. Like, I am a very forgiving person, especially with my family. I feel like I've given family members too many chances sometimes. But I'm so quick to be like, no, like, unacceptable behavior, like, not a standard I want in my life. Especially with friends. I think that's why I struggle with friends so much, because maybe I don't stick around long enough. I don't ever give someone forgiveness or a chance to clean up or fix something, because I never feel like it's genuine. I feel like I don't know if I've even really gotten apologies in friendship. So that's how I know that, like, it was time to move on. From what I've seen in our relationship, you have a much harder time than I do cutting people off or removing people you need to remove. Whereas I'm like, no, like, that person's toxic, and it took one interaction for me to be like, never will I talk to you again.
Yeah, I always try to see the best in people.
Yeah. And I think that's due to, like, our childhoods. I think you had healthier relationships in your childhood than I have, whereas I'm, like, ready to cut anybody off that hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
That's why we balance each other out pretty well.
Guess so. That's why you have more friends than me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's an infringement on First Amendment rights, because nobody's saying you can't say them. You can say them, but society is going to hate you. Yeah. So I disagree with that agenda, because I do think it can be a way to hold someone accountable, because I think you and I know firsthand that public humiliation is one of the most effective ways to get something to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, public humiliation, if you have been doing something for years and years and you finally get publicly humiliated, that's when you'll change.
I have a perfect example for this. So in high school, I was the class clown.
Okay.
And I would always be the prankster. I would always, like, say out of pocket things out loud. My teachers would find it funny. I mean, they're probably annoyed, but for the most part, the class would crack up. And I remember I got right into college. I thought it was hot shit. I was, like, runner-up homecoming king in high school.
You were stuck in high school.
Yeah.
You peaked.
And so I peaked.
You peaked.
And so I remember stepping into college, and I tried to crack some jokes. I tried to keep on that tradition. And, oh, my God, they don't care.
They don't care in college?
They don't care in college. They will kick you out. They're like, we don't play here. And I remember I shaped up so quick.
Yeah, because you got humiliated in front of the class.
Humiliated by professors. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, nothing changes you like humiliation.
No.
Yeah.
I started to take it way more seriously, for sure.
Yeah, nothing will shape you up like public humiliation. My point just being, I've been through similar situations. Don't know if I'm ready for the podcast to know about them yet, but I've been through similar situations where I've been publicly humiliated, and nothing will change you like public humiliation. No. So cancel culture can definitely be eye-opening. It can hold you accountable, but I think we just think it's dumb to, like, not give somebody a chance to change. Yeah. Like, I cancel them for the moment, whatever, like, let them know that it was bad, but every person deserves a chance to grow, a chance to change.
What if it wasn't like cancel culture and it was like, this is a wake-up call culture? Like, this is us knocking on the door like, hey, there's a problem. If you don't change this, you're getting canceled.
We could keep it called cancel culture, but can we, like, uncancel them when they change? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we're canceling you until further notice. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're grounded. Basically, you're grounded. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like people sometimes they really need to be like, we're boycotting this, and then, like, as soon as you boycott something, especially businesses, as soon as you stop giving them your money and they see an influx of, like, the money going down,
they change.
They're like, oh shit.
Yeah. And
they change. So, like, do what you need to do, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you really need to, like, be serious, I feel like it's the same situation as, like, a breakup. Like, I've seen healthy relationships that are now married and happy, where the girlfriend or boyfriend had to break up with them and be like, I'm literally done with you. We're never getting back together. And then that person changed and they got back together like a year later or whatever it was. But they had to be serious in the moment so that that person would take it seriously. They weren't like, let's take a break and hopefully it'll change, because that would have left them hope, right?
So they had to cancel each other to come back.
Yeah, they literally had to be like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. That way they're like, oh shit, this is real. You know, I think it's the same thing for cancel culture. Like when they get canceled and they see all their shows and their music go down, I think
get their shit together.
They're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. So I think cancel culture can definitely a valid way of holding people accountable, but give them another chance if they change is my only point, I think.
Yeah.
And don't cancel people over dumb shit. Don't ruin someone's life over like something stupid, you know? And if we see somebody really change, you know, that really happens. Yeah, you know, that's not just in the movies. So I think that's also something valid to think about.
Well, that's it for gossiping and cancel culture. Thank you so much for tuning into episode 7.
Thank you.
Next week, be sure to tune in to episode 8. We are interviewing Justin Castillo.
Our very first interview pod. Be there. Do not miss it. It's going to be very fun. We're going to have 3 mics, 3 chairs, 3 people. We are going to be interviewing Justin Castillo. He is my boss, my director for a movie that we're working on. I've been secretly working on a Halloween scary movie that's coming out this fall. It's called The Last Order. Justin Castillo directed it. I worked on it. I'm working on the wardrobe, and I'm doing a promotional merch line for it, and we're going to be doing all of that next week. We're going to get into the movie. We're going to ask him about it, how, you know, we're also going to talk about the correlation between a director, an artist, and mental health, and what that looks like being an artist and being so busy as an entrepreneur, and how that correlates to your mental health. We're going to get into the movie. We're going to get into the merch line. We're going to be wearing merch that I'll have done next week, and we're excited. Do not miss it. It's going to be so exciting. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited myself.
We love you.
Love you.
Later, gems.